Hello everyone, my name is MBALENHLE SOSIBO and I will be presenting on the response of mammal assemblages to bordering land use and edge effects in the southern Mistbelt Forests of northern Eastern Cape and southern KwaZulu-Natal. With an increase of anthropogenic activities, there's been a decline in forests and mammals on a global scale. Resource demand has caused land use intensification, which has resulted in habitat loss, fragmentation, and a decrease of species diversity. To protect mammals and their natural habitat, we need to regularly monitor our changing landscape. In South Africa, the forest biome is the smallest of the 8 biomes, which includes the naturally fragmented southern Mistbelt Forest group, which has endemic species of plants and mammals. We need to understand dynamics of mammals in their natural environment, as well as their response to different land uses surrounding natural habitats. So our study aimed to estimate site occupancy and detection probability of mammalian species across a mixed land use gradient within the inland southern Mistbelt forests of northern Eastern Cape and southern KwaZulu-Natal. The southern Mistbelt forest patches are nested in the natural grassland biome with other anthropogenic land use practices such as commercial agriculture and exotic tree plantations. The dominant tree species within these forests are the endemic Eugenia zuluensis and the Podocarpus species. The Podocarpus species are also commonly known as the yellowwood tree species. Our study will take place in 3 study clusters, namely the Umtata area, which is in the Eastern Cape, Glengarry-Weza in KZN, which is not too far from Coxted, and then the Crichton area, which is also within the KZN area. We used camera traps, which were deployed for 21 days. To determine the coordinates of where camera traps would be deployed, we used ArcGIS. We overlaid a 400 by 400 meter grid over forest patches, and each intersect was used as a camera point. We extracted land use data from 1 kilometer buffers around each forest patch for occupancy analyses, as well as camera station distance from the forest edge for detection probability. To analyze the data, we use the multi-session Royal Nichols multi-species occupancy model. 16 species were identified on camera traps, with the detections ranging from 1 to 583. The bushbuck had the highest number of detections, with serval and African wildcat having the lowest. A large proportion of forest patches that were sampled in our study were surrounded by commercial tree plantations. The blue duiker, Simango monkey, and common duiker were more likely to occupy forest patches surrounded by tree plantations. This may be due to mature plantations resembling indigenous forests where they are able to use them as corridors between forest patches. Plantations also act as a buffer zone, which may provide resources in different seasons. The large spotted genet was the only species more likely to occupy forest patches surrounded by human settlements. This may be due to the species' ability to successfully exploit different environments. Species occupancy between study site clusters varied, with Simango monkey having the highest species occupancy in the Umtata and Ngeli clusters, which were dominated by surrounding tree plantations. The large spotted genets had the highest species occupancy in the Crichton area, which was dominated by human settlements. The Simango monkey showed high variation in its occupancy of the Crichton cluster. This may have been due to only being detected in 2 out of 10 forest patches that were sampled in this cluster. Detection probability for most mammalian species in our study in the southern Mistbelt forests showed little to no variation. However, the bushbuck and the tree hyrax were more likely to be detected at the core. The core area is predominantly associated with dense vegetation and a closed canopy, which may provide these species with cover from both aerial predators such as the crowned eagle, which is known to prey on these 2 species, and terrestrial predators. In comparison to other similar studies conducted in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, we observed that our species numbers as well as occupancy and detection probabilities were relatively low. This could be due to anthropogenic pressures we observed throughout the study. An example would be livestock from the neighboring communities foraging within the forests. whereby they trample on the vegetation and forage on forest species' food, inadvertently creating unfavorable conditions. Species had varying site occupancies and responses to bordering land use. Bordering land use had a role in influencing species occupancy and detection. Tree plantations adjacent to forests have notably been documented as a type of habitat conversion that has several negative effects on mammals. However, they are frequently referred to as forests in landscape assessments and can provide corridors between forest patches, which is of conservation value. In conclusion, management approaches must consider a multi-species conservation approach to accommodate the needs of different species. Thank you.